Lewis Hutchinson, a Scottish immigrant to Jamaica, was the first recorded serial killer in Jamaica's history and one of its most prolific. Hutchinson, better known as the Mad Master and Mad Doctor of Edinburgh Castle, was born in Scotland in 1733, where he is believed to have studied medicine. During the 1760s, Lewis Hutchinson arrived in Jamaica to take charge of an estate called Edinburgh Castle. While it was claimed that he legally acquired the property, rumors circulated that he sustained his cattle herd by stealing stray animals from his neighbors. However, these allegations were not the only ones made against Hutchinson during his time in Jamaica. Shortly after his arrival, the disappearance of travelers became a cause for concern, leading to growing suspicions. As the only inhabited location for miles on the route from St. Anne's Bay, Edinburgh Castle unwittingly served as a resting place for weary travelers, unaware that they would fall victim to Hutchinson's sinister intentions. Engaging in thrill killings, Hutchinson would murder individuals from various backgrounds indiscriminately, regardless of their race, appearance, size, or wealth. The exact details surrounding Hutchinson's killings remain subject to debate. It is said that he would shoot solitary travelers, and some accounts suggest that he would indulge in drinking the blood of his victims and dismembering their bodies. The remains were either discarded into a cotton tree or deposited in a sinkhole, intended as a source of sustenance for animals. This sinkhole became infamously known as Hutchinson's Hole. In the height of his wickedness, he would even invite guests to his castle under the pretense of entertainment, only to execute them mercilessly. Hutchinson gained notoriety due to his infamous reputation for indulging in hedonism, which instilled fear in those who crossed his path. His slaves shared harrowing accounts of their mistreatment, adding to the macabre tales surrounding his murders, ultimately contributing to his legendary status. Despite the widespread knowledge of his atrocities, Hutchinson managed to evade capture and roamed freely for a considerable period. However, his luck ran out when he encountered an English soldier named John Calendar, who courageously attempted to apprehend Hutchinson. In a desperate bid to escape accountability, Hutchinson resorted to shooting Calendar and promptly fled towards the southern region of Old Harbor. Determined to bring him to justice, the Royal Navy, under the command of Admiral Rodney, swiftly pursued Hutchinson, preventing his escape from Jamaica. Following his capture, Hutchinson faced trial and was ultimately convicted of his heinous crimes. In the year 1773, justice was served as he met his fate at the gallows in Spanish Town Square. While the exact number of lives he claimed remains uncertain, a significant collection of evidence was discovered during a search of his residence subsequent to his arrest. Among the findings were approximately 43 timepieces and a substantial quantity of clothing, serving as a stark reminder of his extensive plunder. The records detailing his trial can be found in both the National Archives and the Jamaican Archives, preserving the accounts of his malevolence for posterity. Luisa de Jesus was born in Figueira de Lorveo on December 10, 1748, to Manuel and Mariana Rodriguez, who were poor farmers. Details about her personal life are scarce, but it is known that as an adult, she got married and occasionally earned money by transporting goods between towns. Struggling with financial difficulties, De Jesus devised a profit-making scheme centered around a foundling wheel near Coimbra. During that time, these contraptions were used by mothers to abandon their infants, hoping that a kind-hearted person of means would take them in. In return for their generosity, the adopter would receive 600 reis, a cradle, and half a meter of thick cotton fabric. Seizing this opportunity, De Jesus, using either her real name or the names of her clients, would adopt children as frequently as possible. Tragically, she would then kill them through suffocation or strangulation. After murdering her victims, she would bury them in shallow graves on Monte Arroyo, under her house, or stuff their bodies into clay pots. Initially, no one suspected anything amiss regarding the rate at which she adopted multiple children. However, on April 1, 1772, Angelica Maria, an employee at a local charity, accidentally stumbled upon a shallow grave on Monte Arroyo. Inside, she discovered the lifeless body of a baby with marks of strangulation around its neck. Promptly reporting her finding to the authorities, an investigation was initiated. It was soon uncovered that the child had been adopted by DeJesus using her real name. When taken in for questioning, she immediately confessed to killing 2 newborns on April 6. Upon hearing her confessions, the authorities searched DeJesus's residence. There, they uncovered a makeshift graveyard containing the remains of 18 more infants. Additionally, 13 additional bodies were found during excavations on Monte Arroyo, bringing the total number of bodies discovered to 33. Some of the infants' bodies had decomposed to the point of dismemberment or decapitation. Further investigation into adoption records revealed that DeJesus had adopted a total of 34 babies. However, she refused to disclose the fate of the missing 34th baby, and its body was never found. Consequently, DeJesus was charged with 33 counts of murder. 2 employees at the local charity house were also indicted for criminal negligence in relation to the adoption procedures, but were eventually released in October of the same year. In an attempt to evade punishment, DeJesus's lawyers argued that as she was under 25 years old, she should be considered a minor under the law and therefore ineligible for the death penalty. However, the judges dismissed this claim, asserting that if she was old enough to commit such heinous crimes, she would be treated as an adult in the eyes of the law. As a result, DeJesus was sentenced to death and ordered to pay approximately 20,000 reis to the state. On July 1, 1772, DeJesus was paraded through town with a noose around her neck, while a magistrate publicly recited her crimes to the gathered crowd. Her hands were then severed, and she was branded with a red-hot iron before being ultimately strangled. DeJesus's body was subsequently burned, and her ashes were scattered.